Hi everyone and welcome back to the Colour Cave where we like to play with the art stuff. My name is Jem and today we are revisiting our recent sketch and story watercolour subscription box and we're going to have a little go at the prompt. Now, I've deliberately waited to do this because the box that was sent to me was the box from January and the prompt is Cosy Moments. It is absolutely chucking it down with rain this morning, so that's kind of put me more in a I want to be cosy mood. So I'm hoping that's going to be to my advantage. Today is the last day for you to enter the giveaway for a sketch and story subscription box. So if you haven't entered, get yourself over to the sketch and story website and join the mailing list and you will be included in the giveaway draw. So entries close this evening and Natalie will be drawing the winner shortly after. If you haven't seen the original video, I'll link it in the end card so that you can go and watch it, and full details of how we're announcing the winners, etc. is in that video. I've also added a few items into the stash shop today because it's Sunday, so you can head over there and check that out on the website if you fancy buying yourself something arty. So just a little reminder of what we're working with here. We have these lovely plastic nibbed pens in these very vibrant colours, and we discovered in the unboxing video that these are very soluble and I'm going to use that to my advantage today. We've also got the two Molotov Aqua brush markers and the brush tips on these pens are freaking amazing. I love them. And then we've got our two very interesting handmade watercolours and I am in love with this teal colour. So that's what we've got to work with, and as I discussed in the unboxing video, I have decided to go with a hot pressed paper, and that's just to facilitate the brush nibs just generally be nice to them. So I'm using the Arche hot pressed watercolour paper. These pads do come in odd sizes, and when I say that, they're measured in inches, they don't come in A4, A5. So I've taken one of these big sheets and I've just cut it in half. So hot pressed paper has a smooth surface, but this is really high quality watercolour paper. It is quite expensive and it's not something I use as everyday watercolour paper. I tend to keep it for, you know, special finished pieces, but just because we've got the supplies that we have, that's what I'm going to plug for today. So when I think about cosy moments, I have a lot of them. Obviously I live on a farm and I live in a big drafty farmhouse, so being cosy is really important to me in the winter. And one of the things that I always associate with that is when I look out the window at night, it is pitch black. We've got no street lights, we're surrounded by fields. I like to kind of almost like look out into the blackness, and then I like to shut the blinds or the curtains and, you know, like then get myself cosified. So that's kind of something I associate with being cosy, is looking out the window and then, you know, closing those curtains or whatever. So I would like to include a window, and I feel that with this colour here we would be able to see what's going on outside. And things I like to do to be cosy, apart from playing video games, is I love to sit down with a cup of tea and a book. I'm a huge reader. One would almost say a fanatical reader, and there's nothing better than sitting down with a book. Well, we say a book, a blanket and a brew. Now that's something that's quite interesting. In Scotland we would not talk about a cup of tea or coffee as a brew. That's a very north of England thing, and it's a phrase that I've picked up from Mr. Jem because he is from their parts. And I ask people if they want a brew now, and that is a very Northern English thing. But say we talk about a book, a blanket and a brew, and when you say that, you know that that's you, like you're cosying down for the night, shop's shut. So I'm going to put my little book in here as well. I should really have done that first, methinks, but never mind. So it can't be sticking up above the windowsill, Jem, come on now. And for those of you who are seasoned cavers, you'll know that a mug of tea in this house is like, it's a pint mug. So I need to make sure that I've got these got these dimensions right. Maybe we'll have a little bookmark. You know, one of those little ribbon ones. Maybe we'll have one of those. Why not? I kind of want to nod to the featured artist, and in her picture she had this whimsical little window. So maybe I'll go with the same style of window frame. Maybe this could be the fox's living room. Maybe it's his little snug or his den. That's cool, I like that idea. Let's do that. Okay, so just going to take out some of the sketch lines that I don't need. Tidy things up a wee bit because I don't want to confuse myself when I'm painting. That would not be good. And then just want to lighten up my sketch lines here because obviously we're working in water soluble mediums that are mostly transparent, and we don't want these dirty great big graphite lines poking their ugly heads through. Well, not in this instance anyway. So one of the first things I want to do is decide where my light source is coming from. Obviously it's dark outside, so it's not going to be coming in the window. So I think just in the interests of making things easy for myself, I'm going to have the light source coming from the left hand side. Got my Jackson's quill brush here, which holds a lot of water. And I've just rested those little half pans in these wells here to stop them rattling about quite as much. Give them a scoosh. Oh, that was quite violent. So I'm going to start with these areas inside the window panes. So it's going to be the sky. Just dampen that down. So I'm just going to go one at a time here. I just love this colour. It is so rich. I am in love. I may have to employ a little bit of white gouache, I think at the end, maybe just to put some stars in, or snow. Could be either, who knows. Now I'm going to build this outside window up in layers. This paper will take so much paint, it's untrue. But I just wanted to get this first one down and give it a chance to sort of settle a wee bit. I'm trying to be very careful here because I want this line to be fairly crisp. I just love watching that paint move about as well. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can watch the paint too. Okay, it's just doing its thing. Maybe a wee bit too much water going on there. Okay, so we'll let that do its thing. I do want to try and utilise all the colours here as well, so I'm thinking down at the bottom. I do want to keep this as painterly looking as possible as well though. So in the interests of that, I'm going to take this marker. And this is the skin tone marker. If you remember, was it called Skin 1 or something? So I'm going to try and pick a well that doesn't have any apparent glitter in it. This one does. Okay, I think this one's probably good. I just want to smoosh out some of this marker. I'm going to pick some of this up. Now the reason I've watered this down in the palette is, if you remember from the unboxing, it wasn't very soluble when we put the marker straight onto paper. So that was kind of my reasoning behind this. And I'm not actually bothered about this being like a flat colour. I kind of want a bit of texture. You know, maybe to suggest that this is a wooden countertop or desk or windowsill. I don't know what it is. Surface, it's just a surface. So yeah, I'm not that bothered about making this really consistent, and you know, because it is quite a simple picture, so we do want some sort of, you know, variety and interest going on in there. So this is actually perfect for this. I do want a little bit more down here though. So there may be areas where I'll go back over the top. Now I'll be interested to see how I go with this fine liner. So I'm going to try it on the spine of the book first. And I just want to see if this is going to spread out as easily on this paper as it did on the other paper. And I think the answer to this is yes. Okay, I'm happy that that's going to work. That's pleased me quite a lot. I just wanted to test that out. So I just want to make sure this is absolutely dry before I start working around it, because I don't want it to bleed into anything. So I'm just going to take this burgundy one, because I can do my little bookmark. I'm just one of these little ribbon bookmarks, you know. You know the type, the ones you get in diaries and things. Get a nice little pop of colour in there. Okay, I think I can go back up here. Look how deep this colour is. Oh my goodness, I freaking love it. It would be really nice if the night sky in the winter was that colour. I'd just stand and look at it. Okay, that's better. That's more the kind of depth I'm going for, like that's what I'm after. So I'll just work my way down. So I'm going to have to leave this one. It seems to be taking ages to dry, and it's also got a slightly different colour. I don't know what that's all about. It's drying with almost like a greenish hue to it on this outside edge, which is weird. How wet is this? That's still really wet. I wonder what happens if I go on top of it. I'm just going to go for it. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of like almost yellow pigment going on in this paint, and I don't understand why. So I'm just going to go back over this. Try and even up to match the rest here. Now, while this is still damp, I just want to lift a little bit of colour at the top here. Maybe to give the idea of a reflection on this window a little bit, you know, on the panes of glass. Maybe not so much on the bottom ones. Okay, so I'm happy that these pens are going to be quite safe. So I'm going to carry on here and fill this in. So I say my light source is going to be coming from roughly here. So it's going to be darker down down this end of my book. And orange is as good a colour as any. So again, just thinking about this light source here, this back right hand corner is going to be the richest. So we'll build that up in layers as well, that'll be fine. Now I've just got a funny feeling, I'm just looking at the level of my desk or table or whatever, and I think a wee bit of it is just going to be poking through here. Better! I also want to put in as well, without sticking my hand in this, the bottom, because that's obviously going to be the back cover of the book. I think my angle's slightly off here as well. There we go, that's better. Is it better? No, it's not better at all. Yeah, okay, that's better. Bit happier now. I don't really have a use for this teal pen, so I'm just going to use it to indicate the pages in the book. I don't know whether that was ink on my hand. I really don't know how this has happened because that's dry. And I don't have anything on my hand. Oh, I'm confused. I don't know anymore. We're not getting on very well today, are we? Right, okay, so this mug, really thinking about light sources now, so I've still got the ink from the pen, from the marker. Do this way just in case I stick my hand in anything else. Hope I don't make you seasick. So this is going to be the darker edge here, so this is where I want to start building up some layers. And I'll just keep going with the brush all the way across until that fades out to nothing, and then I shall rinse and repeat. There we go. So that's going to travel now because I've made that wet. I might just wait and see how much it travels on its own. That might be more interesting. And this handle is going to be really dark because it's furthest away. So once that's dry, I will go in and do a couple of layers, you know, on top of the handle part. I'm not liking the way this is bleeding, so I'm going to help it along a little bit. Just to smooth it out because it's quite spidery. And obviously this is going to be ceramic, one would imagine. So we would like a slightly smoother transition than that. Now it might be quite interesting as well that when this is dry to just actually take the marker and really make that, you know, make it really obvious and kind of stylise it, because we've done this with the fine liners as well, you know, we've put in very deliberate lines. So it might be an idea to do that to keep everything together and keep it cohesive. That might be quite nice. So I'm going to go back to this I'm just going to call it a tabletop, and I'm just going to put in some little lines here and there. So these are going to look quite subtle because obviously it's the same colour as what we've done, you know, we're using the same pen. But maybe just to give a little bit of texture there, it doesn't have to be anything terribly exciting, because the other thing we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to put some shadows in with this, what is it called? Shadow Violet? Yeah, Shadow Violet over the top of this, so we don't have to worry too much, but see, it's just to start putting some detail in and make it look, you know, a wee bit more interesting. Okay, that's fairly dry. So just speaking of Shadow Violet, I'm going to try and take this in its darkest form, you know, I'm not going to dilute it if I can help it. Jeez. And I'm going to use this for the window frame. I think I'll just work my way around the outside first, and then I'll put these crossbars in. I was going to try and work, you know, like all the way across from right to left, but just because this is a curve as well, because, you know, I like to make things really easy for myself. I think I'll just do the frame round the outside and then I'll go back and do the middle struts. I really like this paint. I have to say, recently I have been using a lot of manufactured, you know, like mass-produced paint, and I haven't been using as much handmade watercolour, and the difference for me is night and day, and I much prefer using handmade watercolours. Obviously I'm a huge fan of Julia Kay's watercolours, that is my watercolour of choice, but even having these ones here, you know, that have been made by someone else, I find there's so much more pleasure in using them than manufactured paints. And I've got loads of mass-produced paints that I really like, but there's just a difference, and I much prefer handmade watercolours, I really do. Like, I'm really enjoying this process here, this actual process of putting in a window frame, and it's literally just straight lines. I'm not doing anything, you know, that's technical or fancy or even all that exciting, but this is just really nice. Like, it feels nice. It's very sort of therapeutic, I suppose. Very relaxing. I'll go across the way now, I suppose. Woo! That was brave. Kind of forgot about this bit. I was all working my way back round the outside of the frame and even painted this bit. Wow. Oops. Oh, damn it. Now again, maybe thinking about light source, probably not so much, especially if this is a wooden frame, but this side would perhaps be darker than that side. If the light source is coming, you know, this direction. Maybe not, but I'm going to stick an extra layer in here. Try not to mess things up, that would be real nice, Gem. And this part in here would be pretty dark as well because the book and the mug are in the way as well. So maybe we'll just stick a little bit more in there. Why not? I've just done it again. Who said it would be a good idea to give me a paintbrush? Okay, so let's have a think about this mug now. This looks pretty dry. So I'm just going to go in, and I'm not the greatest with markers, I'm really not. But I want to get that fairly dark. Maybe there's just a little bit of light catching somewhere on the handle. Depends how shiny a mug it is, I suppose. I've just put my hand in that again. Oh my god, Jim. What is wrong with me today? It's like I've never painted before. Oh lordy. Right, keep your hand away from the freaking wet paint. Turn it this way. So in here as well, bearing in mind that this mug is curved, this is going to be really dark in there. Maybe gradually get lighter up here. So the light just might be catching part of the handle somewhere. And I can go in, if I wanted darker again, which I probably will, let's be realistic, I can go back in with this teal pen right in here. Why not? In for a penny, in for a pound. I wonder if I can pull that out with the brush pen. Oh, I can. Oh, no. No. So I'm actually able to manipulate the plastic pen with the brush pen. See, there we go. We've got some nice contrast there. I've got a feeling that this might even come out further. I'll see how far that travels and, you know, let it do its thing. And maybe there's a bit more of a solid line on the inside. All right, now I'm going to have to leave that to dry completely before I tackle the dark edge of the mug, you know, this side, because it will just bleed into itself. We'll let that do its thing. I'll maybe come back to my book here and just tidy up a wee bit of bleed along the back there. It's not really a huge issue, but I just want to add in a little bit more orange there. I'm having like severe issues today. I don't know what's going on with me today, I really don't. Can't even blame it on my hand not cooperating. My hand's fine. I've got a pencil, I've got a stray pencil line down the side here as well. I need to get rid of that. It's a sketch line that I didn't need. There we go, that's a bit better. So it's starting to come together a little bit. I'm really annoyed about this blue spot on the cover of this book, but I don't think I can even lift it or anything. I'm going to try, but I think we might be past the point of that. Maybe I'll just, yeah, there you go. Just cover this up a bit. Test this out on a scrap of paper first. Yeah, okay, so really, really pale desaturated, that's what we want. And I'm going to use this as a shadow colour. So I'm going to run a tiny little bit of it under the edge of this book there. And then as we come round here, I'm going to cast a little bit of a shadow down here. You can see how effective that is. It's so subtle, but it's there. And again, maybe our mug's going to be casting around here somewhere. Again, I just want to put like a little edge round here, but most of the shadow's going to be cast this way. I'll round off the corner of my mug there, jeez. Jeez Louise. Yeah, that's more like it. I'll maybe even just exaggerate that a bit more, because why not? The light's coming from this way, so that kind of screws up my book edge, but never mind. Never mind. Now again, the thing is here, this at the end of this book is in shadow, so I don't think I can get this any lighter than this. And of course that's going to pick up the blue. Of course it is, Gem. Very irritating. Right, I'm going to try and lift as much of this as I can. And I want to see what happens if I go over this now with this shadow violet. So there's not much I can do about that now, to be fair, but it's just a lack of planning. It's also making my bookmark colour bleed now as well. Dagnammit. So this is what I was saying to you to avoid in the first video. But see, that's just a lack of planning and me changing my mind at the last minute, which I do quite a lot, to be fair. Okay, so thinking about our mug here as well, it's going to have some tea or coffee in it. And I think I need to wait till that dries. I can't do anything until it dries. I'm going to put a little bit of this in here as well. A little shadow colour. I don't know whether this is dry or not, but I'll turn it around just in case. Now that one line has made all the difference there. All the difference. Look how much my mug's standing out now. Just deepen my shadows here. Okay, when it comes to the tea stroke coffee, it's going to be tea. This is me we're talking about. It's going to be tea. Again, I'm just going to turn this round. And I think I just want the sliveriest of slivers. Okay, good. And the inside edge, if I'm thinking about this, I'm probably thinking about this a little bit too hard, to be honest. This side's going to be light and this side's going to be dark because the light's going that way, so it's going to reflect off this side. And this side isn't going to see... Oh my goodness. Right, okay. Again, I think I might just do this with the marker. So, have a darker corner in here. And then it'll be paler as it heads over to the other side. I have done a lot of turning this paper around, and I'm really sorry if that's something that irritates you, but I don't seem to be doing very well with not sticking my hand in things today, so, you know, my bad. I don't think I was meant to paint today, like I really don't. Okay, so this marker in its pure form stays wet for ages because that blue is now leaking into my tea colour. And that is just not what I wanted at all. Like, not what I wanted. I knew, obviously, there's water content in them, but being markers, expect them to dry fairly quickly. But, oh boy, these things are sent to try me today. They really are. I did want to use this red, well, burgundy colour. And I wanted to, like, really water it down. Because you get, like, quite a nice, delicate pink out of it. And I thought that would be nice just for a little bit round the window, you know, to give some warmth to it. Mix this up a bit. Again, I'll test it on my little scrap of paper here because I want it to, yeah, even at that, that's quite pink actually. Now, bearing in mind, this was supposed to be burgundy, this pen. Oh, no, burgundy to me. Looks like pink to me. Okay. Yeah, so I just want to give an impression here. I don't want to fill the whole thing in. Again, kind of like I did with the surface, you know, the tabletop. I am keeping well away from this mug. This mug is not my friend. Again, not that bothered if it's even. It's not really about that. So it's just to bring a little bit of warmth to the edge of the picture. You know, to get away from the sort of... I talk about this quite a lot, actually. I'm just trying to get rid of the white of the paper. I'm not actually specifically wanting to have a certain colour or shading or whatever. But yeah, this is just doing the job nicely. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it on the camera, though, because it is very delicate. Okay, so two things I want to do just to finish this picture off. First of all, white Posca pen. So obviously this is the night time outside. So let's just get... I don't know whether this is snow or stars. I'll let people interpret that how they please. Maybe it's snow. Again, thinking about this box was January's box. So high probability, especially here at the cave, that is freaking snowing. Snowing, imagine thinking about snowing just now. No. I'll get a little bit of variation. That was just like my background. Now I may have to go over this a couple of times because this paint is really heavily pigmented. The Posca pen is just going to like suck up the pigment. That's a guarantee, and I can see it happening already. That's perfectly normal. So if you go back over, especially your larger areas, if you go over them a couple of times, once, leaving them to dry in between each layer, it's usually not too much of an issue. It's certainly not an issue for me. Okay, this is definitely snow now. There's no doubt in this. Maybe it could still be stars, couldn't it? But look how much that changes the picture. What was quite a sort of boring picture, that just instantly lifts it. Again, like I'm a fan of simple pictures. This is very sort of calm and serene to me, but it also feels cozy as well because of the light source. So that's quite nice. I'm not happy about this mug. This mug is annoying me. No end. It's actually irritating me. Yeah, I keep deciding whether I want a really heavy shadow there, and I definitely do. I've also decided as well I don't think the light would be hitting this quite so much. I don't think it would be quite so pronounced. Don't like my lines either. Don't like my wiggly lines. Made it worse. Okay, there we go. Right, I'm going to try and put this last little bit of pink in here. Right, okay, before I do anything else and balls anything else up, I'm just going to put my name at the bottom of this and put it down here with the little teal. Oh, that was epic, guys. That was epic. But there we go. I got there. I got there in the end. Oh, goodness me. I absolutely love these supplies. I clearly just can't organise myself. myself and plan things out. So yes, the things that have gone wrong with this today are purely operator error. It's nothing to do with the supplies. But these items are lovely. Like I really, really like the paints. And see, the fact that I haven't used handmade watercolour for a while has made it super nice. And the brush nibs on these pens are amazing. And these little pens just pack a punch. I mean, look at the colour you've got out of them, especially that orange. So I think this is a great set of supplies. I've really, really enjoyed myself. These items here I will be putting into the stash shop. Not today, it'll probably be next week. Just for the simple fact that these are exactly the type of items that are really, really good quality, but will just sit in the cave and gather dust, and I don't want that. So if you'd like to try out these brush markers, or even try out the solubility of these pens, then you can keep your eyes peeled for those in the stash shop next weekend. However, nobody's getting the handmade paint because I absolutely love it, and I know that I will use that paint. There is no doubt about it, especially this teal colour that I like so much. Go and enter the giveaway if you'd like to have a box similar to this for your very own good self. You can jump over to the Sketch and Story website. Today is the last day for you to join that mailing list to be in with a shout of winning the box. If you'd like to subscribe to these boxes, you can get 20% off your first box by using a coupon code ColourCaveYay at checkout if you just want to go ahead and subscribe your backside off to these boxes, because they are really, really nice. But that's it for me today. I think I've had enough disasters for one day. I think I'm done. So all that remains is to say thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you coming and hanging out with me. Please be safe. Take care of each other, and I'll see you back in the cave on Thursday for another video. So have a good day, everyone, and bye-bye for now.